Good afternoon again. As the governor mentioned earlier, it's been a year since the tragic Oregon district shooting in Dayton. That hit us all pretty hard. It was very personal to me in the sense that I used to work in that same area for a period of time in my life, and we all keep the victims in our memories. But we also want to use their memory as motivation to get some things done. And the Strong Ohio Plan, which the governor mentioned, has many components, but the Innovate Ohio team, the Department of Public Safety, and Department of Administrative Services have been working on one aspect of it that the governor mentioned that I want to dig into a little bit deeper so you have the background on it. It's a technology solution. That's why the Innovate Ohio team is involved. And it's something that everyone should support. The solution is known as eWarrent, or the eWarrent system. Let me just briefly explain what problem the eWarrent system solves, because right now, if there's a warrant or a protection order issued, it's a paper process. It's a slow paper process that requires a second step of entering the data into the LEADS or the NCIC databases, which these databases allow law enforcement to know whether there's a warrant out for someone's arrest or a gun store owner. It allows them to know whether a potential customer can lawfully purchase a firearm. And since the shooting, while we have seen significant improvements in the two-step paper process of compliance, we need to modernize the system. There is no doubt about that, and make it free, easy, and mandatory. This is important because background checks are only as effective as the information in the system. And for a long time, I know in all of my career, Second Amendment groups have been calling for this type of reform in the area because it keeps the guns out of the hands of the criminals without infringing upon the rights of law-abiding citizens. For gun shop owners, a streamlined warrant protection order system would improve their ability to see all warrants and protection orders in the background check in real time. And I know this. I frequently talk to gun store owners. I have one gun store owner. Every time this happens, he emails me and says, look, we have our 72 hours that we have to wait before we sell the person a gun. The 72 hours comes and goes. They get no indication about whether or not the person is lawfully allowed to own a gun or not. And then weeks, months, sometimes never, they don't get they get the background check verification, and it shows that they should not have sold that gun to the person because they weren't legally allowed to own it. This system has many holes in it. It doesn't work, and the eWarrant system will help prevent this from happening. It's also about officer safety. Under the current system, a person could have an outstanding warrant, and then an officer in another jurisdiction doesn't know that. They approach a car or a situation that could be very dangerous because as they do the background check, they don't know the person they're confronting actually has a warrant out for their arrest. And an officer unknowingly goes into that situation because there are holes in this system. eWarrant will help fix that. Innovate Ohio, as I mentioned, has been working with the team at Public Safety and DAS to create this free, easy, and mandatory system for all of law enforcement, judges and clerks. The award phase of the project is done. And we're beginning the building phase of this project. Our team will begin working with the first counties before the end of the year, and we'll have our initial partners go live in early 2021. So we're still about 6 to 7 months from having this active, and it's worth noting, it's worth emphasizing again, this process, this technology, we will take care of the technology side of the problem, but we still need action from the General Assembly to make it mandatory, as the governor talked about earlier. Without that important step and action from the General Assembly, we won't have a requirement that the data be entered through the eWarrant system. And this is not a controversial issue. eWarrant has been long supported, as I mentioned, by Second Amendment advocates and gun owners. It's simply an enforcement tool of existing law. and it needs to happen, and we hope the General Assembly will act before the end of the year.